There's one foundation most fear-based Christianity quietly builds into people. It's survival mode. But psychologists tell us that long-term fear literally weakens resilience, which means that the faith that was meant to hold you up actually collapses when a crisis comes. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to see why God never designed faith to run on fear, and how to build a calm, unshakable spiritual core instead. This shift took me from burnout and spiritual striving to steadiness and trust. And toward the end, I'll guide you through a short grounding activation that resets your inner state. So stay with me. If you're new here, I'm Jason Powell, a progressive Christian spiritual teacher and a gospel music artist who helps you awaken to the presence and power of God within you, but without the shame, the fear, and the exclusion. We do this with inclusion, affirmation, and empowerment. So if you know you want more of that in your life, subscribe now so you never miss what's coming out, and so you can stay connected. All right, now we find our main text today in that Old Testament book of Isaiah, chapter 41 and verse 10. Isaiah was considered one of the major prophets in the Bible who pushed against unjust systems of oppression and foretold, in many ways, the coming of the divine awareness through the Christ that would shift and change everything, particularly in spiritual history. Now, before we read it, there are three insights I want us to tap into. Number one, in this text, God says, fear not first. That's important. Number two, this divine presence is the promise. And number three, God is showing us here that this divine strength that comes from this divine presence flows from our relationship with the divine, not from our performative striving to jump through enough hoops to be approved by the divine. This is a major difference in how we relate to God. All right, let's read this slowly. In Isaiah 41, the prophet is now assuring the covenant people of God, in other words, those who have tapped into divine covenant, who have understood that they lived a period of separateness and consciousness from their covenant relationship with the divine. In other words, they're dealing with a period of not realizing their connection with God, which has resulted in bad things occurring in their society, because it's like they've been cut off from their life source. But the powerful revelation happens when they understand the truth of their root in God, their true source, and that God is their ever-present help. Let's read this. In the New King James Version, verse 10, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That's the hand of strength. That's the hand of power. That's the hand of decision making. That's the hand of will. It's a message that the will of God is to uphold you and to strengthen you. Let's look at this in the Amplified Version. Fear not. There is nothing to fear, for I am with you. Do not look around you in terror and be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and harden you to difficulties. Yes, I will help you. Yes, I will hold you up and retain you with my victorious right hand of rightness and justice. So we see here that in the realm of spirit, there is a strengthening, there is an upholding, and there is a justice, which includes well-being for humanity, rightly aligned with spirit source. Notice how the fear-based faith model that is so popular in some circles, that model breaks in times of pressure. If your faith is try harder or God leaves, then crisis exposes it. What am I saying here? If your faith says that I've got to try harder to earn God's approval or to get into the blessing of God, I've got to be perfect. I can't make a mistake or else God will abandon me. With that kind of thinking, it wires you internally to not be able to handle a crisis, because then you think the crisis is then proof that God is working against you. And you think that there's something that you can do to earn you being in right standing with God. It's this loop that puts you at odds with self and at odds with God. But that's the power of what Christ has done to change that inner story. So it matters where the text leads to. If we stop there, we don't get the full picture of who we truly are. There is a viewpoint that says that fear keeps people obedient. But at what cost? And what kind of obedience is that? It's compliance, it's shrinking, but it's not abundant life. That type of fear creates burnout and inauthenticity. But I love what Bell Hooks said. Love cannot live where fear dominates. And if God is love and fear dominates in your worldview, how can God really get in there? Fear-based faith fractures identity, doesn't empower it. It doesn't reveal who you truly are. If this resonates, my book Reimagine God and the playlist below unpack this whole identity-first gospel. Now, let's consider this inner anchor, your identity, and this presence of God. Notice God doesn't say, perform better. God says, I am with you. This is before they were perfect. But it is when they begin to turn their attention and their awareness to the reality of the presence of God active in their life and among them and surrounding them. The presence of good, the presence of beloved spirit, and their connection. When they do this, there's a renewed awareness of divine presence. Presence first, then the strength comes second. The awareness of divine presence will draw a strength into your life. God says, for I am with you. And you say, for God is with me. There's a new strength that begins to come on you. Yeah, Romans 8:15 shows us. You did not receive a spirit of slavery to fear. We did a whole teaching on this, which you'll find linked. And I love how that liberation theologian James Cone shaped our thinking like this. God's presence is liberation, not terror. So walking by faith and living in faith isn't bracing yourself. It's literally resting in the finished work of your well-being in the realm of the spirit and allowing it to work its way into your life, spirit, soul, and body. And this is the key that helps us to live stable, to live unshakable in real life, in the external world around us, no matter what's going on. And it can also shift things that end up going on and unfolding. How does this look practically? When life happens, when things get shaken up, when life shakes, you pause, you breathe, you remember who you are. You remember the divine words of good that you have found that tell you who you are. You rehearse, for God is with me. You literally say it until you feel it, until your vibration shifts. Because that shifting of your vibration is a shifting of your frequency, is a shifting of the spiritual frequency that you're tapping into. Even when the storms don't disappear in the moment. What shifts is the fact that you no longer disappear inside that storm, but you become separate from that tumultuous experience and realize that God is with me. That becomes your stable place. And after that temporary storm, there's an inner anchor that has become the foundation of your existence. It gives you your stability. It gives you your assurance. It gives you your peace. That's why I love Psalm 46, where it says, God is a very present help in the time of trouble. God is my very present help. Can you affirm that? God is my very present help. When you speak it, you awaken it. When you think it, you vibrate with it. It's a spiritual frequency that you tune in on, which activates that word, for I am with you. I will strengthen you and uphold you with my right hand, the hand of victory, the hand of justice, the hand of divine will that wills your well-being. You activate it when you draw on it like this. This is the very present God who is a very present help in the unseen realm that moves into the scene. And we've been activating this as we've been talking these ideas. Let's continue. Lay your hands on yourself and say, I am not alone. God is with me. I am upheld by the divine. I breathe in divine life. I exhale worries and frustrations that dissolve in the spirit. God is with me now. I receive it. And so it is. Now just let your body and your mind and your soul and your spirit harmonize with that. Let your body feel it and breathe through that. And rehearse this more and more. It'll shift you and your life. If you're ready for a faith that stabilizes you instead of scares you, join us on our lives and plug in and stay connected more. You can go to reimaginegodnow.com/live. And if you want the tool in your hand, you can go to reimaginegodnow.com and start reading today. These tools are here to help you live anchored and empowered. Fear-based religion collapses. Love-based faith sustains. It's your time. Remember, when you reimagine God, you reimagine yourself and the world that unfolds for you. See you in the next video.